Hello and welcome to Season 3 of the NGO Whisperer show. My name is Carolyne Opinde. I am the founder of the NGO Whisperer. We are a consulting business that provides technical support to nonprofits so they can successfully impact people's lives. Joining us today from San Francisco in the United States of America is Patricia Allen. She is a wealth advisor and women's financial empowerment specialist. And I've had the privilege of having her come on the NGO Whisperer Masterclass to educate women who work in nonprofits that we serve as the NGO Whisperer. Patricia, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Caroline. I'm so happy to be here. Thank you for having me.
What an honor, what a pleasure to have you. Today, we are going to talk about a very important topic to me as a woman working with people in the nonprofit sector. The topic today is how can nonprofit staff overcome scarcity money mindset? I know people in the nonprofit sector, we are used to looking forward to when the grants are coming through, when donations are coming through. However, during the COVID-19 pandemic, a research that was conducted recently by the independent sector partnering with Washington Council, Ernst & Young in the United States, where they interviewed executives and leaders in over 100 nonprofit organizations that have between 500 and 5,000 employees. The results were not good. It showed that 71% of nonprofits reported a reduction in services and available operations. What does that mean? It means that nonprofit employees were either laid off or put on furlough. And it shows that 67% of these nonprofits had to let go or ask their nonprofits to take an extended leave. Again, 55% of them closed offices. What does that mean to your personal financial situation? It meant that they didn't have an income during that time. 51% of them laid off staff completely, sent their staff home because they didn't have funding. And 30% of these nonprofits, 110 nonprofits, 30% of them have reduced employee pay and benefits. Patricia, this is not very good news when it comes to nonprofits. And even though we want to keep a positive mindset, it's a little bit difficult when you are let go during this time. And you, as the wealth advisor, focusing on helping women, and today looking at nonprofits, how can we have a positive mindset? Maybe to take us through this is first and foremost, what is a positive money mindset and what is abundance?
Wow. I have to start off by saying that those statistics are just jarring to me and just heartbreaking to hear about so many layoffs and seeing people really not having a job and losing hope. So I talk about positive mindset. This is something that I think everyone should begin to embrace. A positive money mindset is basically, it's your attitude. It's a positive attitude about money. Those that have a positive money mindset are the people that have good relationships with their money. It means that they take a look at money as a medium of exchange. They see it as a source or a way of their freedom, how they can have freedom to enjoy the life and create the life that they choose. Having a positive mindset will put you in a position where no matter what your money challenges are, you'll be able to overcome them.
We've also had the word abundance. So positive mindset, positive money mindset is a mindset that you create. What about abundance? What is abundance? This word has been used every time, people are talking about keeping a positive attitude, especially now during COVID-19. How can you
Well,
describe what it is?
I start off with number one, have a positive attitude about money. That's the beginning of it. And when we talk about abundance, it's basically the belief that there's more than enough for everybody. There's plenty of money out there because money is energy. It's infinite. Someone else making money doesn't limit the amount of money that you can make. And the reason why we struggle with insecurity is because we're comparing ourselves to other people. Everybody looks superior on the outside, but comparisons is a fast track to feelings of insecurity. So I suggest you have a belief that it's infinite. There's more than enough, and you do not have to be worried about whether you're going to be able to make more money, because there are lots of opportunities out there. That's what abundance is. There's more than enough for everybody.
In times of crisis, I would imagine if a woman, in this case, because you focus a lot working with women and empowering women, a woman in the nonprofit sector who has lost her job, how can she create a positive money mindset and abundance mindset in her situation right now?
So when we talk about abundance, many people talk about it, but many people never acquire it. And so when we talk about abundance, you have to know and you have to believe that you can create it. So basically it's a belief that you can create abundance. So let's talk about when you have a belief that you can create abundance, that means that you have a positive outlook on your money. That means that you can go out and you can make a difference just by taking a look at the opportunities. Opportunities are out there, and take a look outside of what you're currently doing and go inside as to what talents that you do have that you can look for something else in the meantime to tide you over so that you can go back to work with your nonprofit, because I'm sure when things begin to pick up, they'll begin to hire you back. So you have to believe, that's number one, that you can create it. And that starts with going inside and saying, I can do this.
So once someone has created this belief that I can do it, yes, I may have been laid off. Yes, I may have been asked to take an extended leave or absence from work. It is possible that I can create. How do you help people? And what are the practical steps that you help individuals, specifically women in this case, in the nonprofit sector? How can they come out of this COVID-19 pandemic with some money in the bank? Because you are a wealth advisor, and I would imagine you would help people to think out of the box to create wealth for themselves. What are these steps? What can I do as a person or a woman working in the nonprofit sector?
So the steps are, first of all, take a deep breath and know that this time shall pass, that you're going to be all right. All right, so you haven't been able to find any work, but you have to take a look at what you currently have. So the first thing to do is to take a look at your budget. What does your budget look like? How can you trim that budget? What are some ways that you can do that is to look at the online subscriptions that you have that you don't use, eliminate those. Talk to your creditors in order to be able to reduce the payments. Look for reducing the credit card interest. Look for maybe if you have a mortgage on your home, how you can reduce that interest rate. And interest rates are, I know, pretty low in the United States, but if they're lower, then see about being able to refinance, stop the online shopping unnecessary shopping. And that's where the abundance mindset means. It's like you have to stop looking at everything that's out there that you think you want and you don't really need it. Take an inventory of your finances. But I'd like to take a step back, Carolyne, if I may, and talk about some ways that uh, we can create abundance that will help with the mindset, instead of the practical that I just reviewed with you. The mindset is to take a look at your overall thinking about your money. And the first step is to think of your mindset as the map that tells you that you have a treasure chest at the top of the hill. And once you embrace that fact that you do have that treasure chest, you'll be able to map out the path to the top of the hill. Once you know that, you can create any type of abundance that you want because you are in the mindset to do that. And the next thing you can do is to become best friends with your money mindset. And that way we need to learn how we're thinking. What are our attitudes towards money? So the first thing to do is try this experiment. For 1 week, think about what you're doing or what you're thinking when you make any financial transaction during the course of each day. And at the end of that week, take a look at your attitudes or your thoughts and feelings that you made in order to evaluate what were you thinking when you made that purchase. For example, if you bought 3 pairs of shoes just because they were on sale, I want you to ask yourself, were they on sale? Were they on sale? And should I have bought them? But what was the other reason? I do that myself. So think about your money attitudes there. And when you do that, you begin to take a look inside and say, why am I doing this? You begin to know yourself better. And then the more you know yourself better, you'll be able to take corrections on how you're thinking and moving forward. I like to say, approach your money attitudes like an anthropologist, surveying, studying all of your thoughts, and this will give you some clarity as to why you're making the decisions that you're making, and this will help you to move forward after COVID, once you get through this, and getting back on track, because many of us have fallen off on track with our spending, with all of the things that we're doing, the luxury things that we don't need. So basically that's the mindset part, and I did go over the practical things that you can do.
I would like us to also talk about how we can create a safe space in our family, in the family setting at home, to talk about the money mindset, because what I have seen based on the masterclass that we had, that most families do not really have a discussion about their expenditure. The dad spends, the mom spends, or whoever is the head of the family spends as much as they want. And children, when they're given pocket money or allowances, they spend it the way they want it. Or sometimes the parents control what the children spend on, but they don't have a say about how the parents spend on things in the house that relate to them. How can we establish a positive money mindset in our homes and an abundance mindset in our homes, including everyone who lives in that household?
That's a big one, because when you have a large family, of course, everybody wants to go off on their own direction. However, during times of crisis, the family has to come together. And that's the first step. The family has to come together. And the parents have to admit that although they may have never brought the children in on these types of intimate conversations, explaining to them that, you know, mommy has lost her job, or daddy has lost his job, or, you know, they're working fewer hours, there's not enough money, there's not as much, I don't like to say not enough, but there's not as much money coming in, they have to sit down and explain these things to their children. And I could just go off on a thing for another tangent. For myself, as a single mom with small children, I was struggling at the beginning. And, you know, there were Christmases that we didn't have anything, nothing. And I knew I had to sit down and explain to them why. I mean, that's heartbreaking to do that, but kids are not stupid. They know that their parents are going through some struggles and they don't like to be in the dark. So I think it's very, I think it's good for parents to come together and be honest and open so that everybody is on the same page. And I think when children understand the situation, they can do a better job. And actually their spending as well as their requests of the parents of wanting this and that, you know, all of these things, that these extra things that they no longer can afford. So I suggest that you bring in the children. And then as far as the husband and the wife, they definitely, first of all, have to get on the same page. There's no ifs, ands, and buts about that. Because if you don't, your money is going to just continuously be scattered, and nobody's going to ever feel like, oh God, we're going to get through this. That kind of, you know, you kind of lose hope because, you know, you just haven't come together.
One of the things that I know you have advised us to do through the masterclass that we had was to ensure that you get support for any thoughts or feelings or circumstances that you may be in. And one specific one that I would like to mention is there are those of us who are shopaholics. Whenever anything is on sale, you feel the urge to buy it because you can save $1 or $2 or £1 or £2 just because it's on sale, and sometimes it is not necessary. How do you help such individuals? Another thing, which is another extreme, is people who have addictions to gambling and buying lottery tickets and stuff like that during this time of COVID-19. What is your take on this?
Well, I'll start with the first one. As far as buying things on sale, I can say that I've been guilty of that myself. And I'm beginning to practice what I preach is, yes, I've always been a bargain hunter. And when I see things on sale, whether I need it at that moment, I will buy it. I just stopped cold turkey, you know, and the end result of doing that, I've seen an increase in my bank account because I haven't spent that money on something that I didn't really need, you know, at the time, that I could have delayed that purchase at another time. So that's my first thought on that impulse shopping, buying things on sale. When I see things on sale, I just keep moving. If I don't need it, I won't consider buying it. I'm not an expert on gambling. I can just say I'm an expert on spending and budgeting. All right. Just like the exercise I went through earlier about taking a look at your thoughts and your feelings when you're making a purchase. So when it comes to excess buying, we have to stop cold turkey. And I don't know, because if you've been laid off, or you're working fewer hours and you're seeing a significant drop in your income, you have some important decisions to make. You know, you've got to pay for your necessities, you know, your rent, your mortgage, your insurances, your food, your transportation, and then take a look at what's left, you know. And like I said, reduce your credit card payments. But an addiction, I don't know about an addiction other than you have to look at what reality is and say, I've got to stop. And I understand an addiction. I have an addiction to drinking 2 cups of coffee in the morning. And I just made up my mind that this doesn't serve me to have 2 cups. I don't need 2 cups. when one cup will be enough. So take a look at that particular addiction, like you said, the buying the lottery tickets. Stay away from the places where you can purchase those lottery tickets. You have to just you have to develop that mindset that this is not something that I need, and especially now when my income is less, I can't afford it, and I have no choice because my family needs me to be responsible. And that's that. And I think when we think about our families, that's something near and dear to our hearts. Then I think we can have pause and saying, I need to make some changes here.
Thank you so much. Appreciated that. What message do you have for anyone in the nonprofit sector as they look to developing daily habits? Do you have like affirmations that go alongside with positive money mindset and abundance that you would like to share with us?
Oh, I do. And I practice these myself every day. My feet does not touch the floor until I am doing my morning affirmations. Affirmations, they really speak to your heart. They speak to your psyche, and they let you know that you can. I am who you are. It emphasizes and confirms who you are. I love the I am affirmations of I am wealth. I am bringing in more money than I need. All of the affirmations about self-worth, confidence, abundance, all of those, I have a combination of those. And I just got on Spotify. That's just one of the places where you can get some of your podcasts, or of course, Apple. And I know there are other sources out there, but build up your, I say, catalog of morning affirmations, daytime affirmations, and repeat them every day, because they will become sealed within your heart. And so in order to find some of those, like I mentioned, wherever you go for your podcast or guided meditations, I use those a lot as well. You can also go to my website. I do have blogs on affirmations and money mindset, and you can also sign up for my blogs and get more information on money mindset, because more than ever, as we are today, our mindset is basically it's the path for financial success. How we think about money, what we are about money, who we are when it comes to money is very, very important. And how we talk to ourselves, the people that we surround ourselves with, is extremely important, because that's the only way we're going to stay on track on building the financial future that we desire for ourselves and our families.
Before we go, there's a burning question that one of my clients wanted you to talk about, and that was good debt and bad debt. This is something that they really wanted you to focus on. As you know, with our show, we always ensure that we reach out to our clients to find out what is it they want to hear from our guests. And that was one burning question. What is good debt? What is bad debt?
Oh, that's very plain and simple. Good debt is a mortgage. Many people can't go out and pay cash for a home. So that's good debt. Bad debt is excessive credit cards. I believe everyone should have a credit card because of emergencies. I like to think we should have at least two. And when we have 5, 10 credit cards, that's not good. That's bad debt, unless you can afford to pay them off every month. However, if you've got that many credit cards and you get laid off, you got to figure out how you're going to pay off 10 credit cards. So I consider more than 2 credit cards or 3 bad debt. That's bad debt. Credit cards is bad debt. Anything that you don't need to finance, because you think about the charges, the finance charges. Wow, by the time you paid for that vacation that you enjoyed this year, you're paying for that for about 10 years down the line. So in order to make those large purchases, I'll say large purchases, save in advance for the large purchases. That's the reason why I recommend having a different savings accounts, your regular emergency savings account, and then your large purchase savings account. That would be for like a home or a car or or vacations or anything like that. Have your savings for those types of things, and just don't be putting those things on a credit card. And think of the credit card is not really it's if you can't pay that credit card off within the next month or 2 or 3, then I suggest you don't use that to make that purchase. And think about whether you really need it. Is it a must-have or is it a want? That's another thing to think about. Is it a want or is it a need? If it's a need and you don't have the money, it's good to have that credit card, but be mindful that you want to pay that off sooner than later, because you're going to be accumulating the interest on those credit cards.
Thank you so much. It's been a very informative session, not just for our audience, but for myself too, to look at the mindset that I have before my feet touch the ground. What am I telling myself about myself, about money and my behaviors for the day? You also mentioned that even during the day, it's wonderful to have your positive affirmations in the course of the day, and in the evening as you get to bed. Think about it. During the day, you hear so many things. And one thing I know is whatever you tell yourself is the most important thing. It doesn't matter what people say about you. What you say about yourself speaks louder, because our words are creative in every aspect of our lives, including with our money and our wealth.
Yes.
It's been a pleasure and an honor to have you on the NGO Whisperer show. Thank you so much, Patricia.
Yes, thank you for having me. It's been wonderful being here. Thank you so much, Carolyne.
Where can we find your book?
My book is on Amazon here in the United States. I have different links for Amazon for different countries. And if you'd like for me to send those to you, I can do that. But it is available on Amazon. And if you go to my website, you can see my book there, and also just click on it and buy it there.
Thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, what an honor, what a pleasure it is to have season 3 of the NGO Whisperer show, helping you to look at how you can develop positive mindset in your family and helping you through this time of COVID-19, where we've had so many people go through financial difficulties. But we also believe that through developing positive money mindset and an abundance mindset, that we will come out of the COVID-19 pandemic with wealth and with a positive mindset to create wealth, not just for ourselves, but for the generations to come. Ladies and gentlemen, as we come to the end of our show, we invite you to subscribe, like, and comment on our show on the NGO Whisperer YouTube channel. And we will also make this available on our social media on Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, and Twitter. Until then, it's all about connecting people, raising funds, and impacting lives.